What's up, traders? Welcome back to the channel. Listen, we got a lot going on here in this update. My name's Robert. I trade futures. I want to tell you guys a little bit about what's going on in the prop firm space right now and a couple things that are just going on in general. So we've got some rule changes over at YRM Prop. That's going to be a big deal starting on February 1st. It's not the 2nd. So on February 1st, some of the rules over at YRM Prop change. We're going to talk about that. We also have Top Step, which put a limit on metal trading. We put a brief pause on the metal trading here for a second because of the velocity rule. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. We can take a look at that together. We also want to announce some of the winners from the contest. We had winners for the Savviest contest. We also had winners, which were the instant funded, the Viper accounts, which are so awesome. We also had a couple of 150K accounts go out from Humble Futures. So we want to say congratulations on those. And there's also something going on over there with the CME. Lucid made an announcement this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about that, about some of the countries that are getting banned from trading right now. And we want to see what's going on with those things. So let's go ahead and we'll just dive right on into it together. So the first thing we're going to talk about, guys, is we'll go over here. This is from YRM. And YRM has some things going on where they've made some rule changes. And I want you to know, like I already went over here and grabbed this on my sheet because, as you know, if you've been watching this channel, we have this sheet here at Robert Trades Futures, and this is basically my rankings of all these different prop firms. These are firms that I have affiliations with, some of which I trade with. Everything that's green I've traded with. The blue ones too. Now some of these are starting to move up. For example, YRM Prop did move because it was down here in the yellow section, which are the newer ones that I'm still testing out and we're establishing relationships with. But the blue ones up here, these are a little bit more safe. And YRM Prep has done really well. They've done well over the past 6 months. They're paying people out. They really have a lot going on over there in terms of their pricing. They're a DX feed, and they also are doing, the prices have changed a little bit and the payouts have changed a little bit. So let's talk about that real quick together. Let's jump back over to the announcement. And this was from Mo, from the CEO of the company. And there's a few things that have changed. One of the things that's changed is the payout timing. So the instant prime accounts are going to move from 10 trading days to 8. And then the regular prime accounts, which are through the evaluation, through the test phase, those are going to move from 10 payout days to 6. So their payouts are going to be coming a little bit more quickly with this prop firm. You also have, so your consistency rules are going to stay the same. And they did do a little bit of a change to the profit targets along with the payout caps. So with the profit targets in the 50K, with the instant funded, now this is instant prime. These are the ones where you're instantly funded and you don't have to pass the evaluation. On the 50K, we've got the $3,000 for the first payout and then $2,000 thereafter. And then the caps are for the 50K, you've got $2,000 on the payout for the payout cap, and then 1 through 3, and that's $2,000 payout 1 through 3, and then we've got the cap for $2,500 after. So you want to hit the profit target of $3,000 for the first payout, $2,000 for the payouts that are after, and then for the payout caps, you have the $2,000 payout for 1 through 3, and then $2,500 after is the cap for the 50K account. So that's changed a little bit. The prime accounts, which there's no profit targets that they've added to the prime accounts. The prime accounts are going to remain the same for the profit target. It still has a 50% payout cap. But what they did was they moved the timing up to 6 trading days, and they did adjust the caps a little bit. So, for example, on that 50K account, the first payout to go $1,500, the second payout to go $2,000, the third $2,500, the fourth $2,750. And so these things have changed. And you can see that there's other ones for the other size accounts that they've listed here in this description. And we also want to take a look at the faster. So you have the existing prime accounts stay on the current payout rules with a faster 6-day timing applied. The other thing they changed is the news trading. And let me do this real quick, guys. Let me jump over here real quick. I just want you to know, like, if this is all confusing to you and I'm going way too fast, I have this all laid out here on this sheet. And I just updated this sheet for YRM right now. We moved YRM, went from the yellow up here into the blue, and they will be moving up into green, assuming that everything stays the same. They're just going to be in the green relatively quickly here. So that way you can see what the caps are. You can see what kind of DLLs they have, the buffer, how many days to pass, how many days to the payout, the consistency rule. And then this was something that changed most recently here. Settings here for the news. So they're definitely going to be allowing news trading on either one of the accounts, whether it's starter or whether the challenge account or if it's for the instant prime account. And that's good. And these guys are still definitely a good pick, in my opinion, definitely for the cost. The costs have changed a little bit on these. They're a little bit more expensive now than they used to be, but that's okay. They're still pretty cheap, relatively speaking, in terms of how much it costs to get out the door with one of these 50K accounts at $88 for the evaluation. Also, if you use RTF, you get 50% off the instant funded, and they'll be down to $300 for that 50K account because it's 50% off with my code. Then another thing that you can do is if you're on this page and you're here and you want to report rule changes, or you want to report if you have a problem with the prop firm or something's going bad, I made this form over here. You can just click and you can come in here and you can fill this out. You can tell me about things that are going on. If you have something going on with a prop firm where you didn't get paid or any of those things. Now, it's a lot easier for me to advocate for you if you use my links and you use my codes and stuff with the prop firm. If you didn't buy the account through me, I can try to help you, but it's a lot easier if the person that I sold that bought the account used my code and stuff, that the prop firm's a lot more likely to listen to me at that point. But in any case, you can fill these forms out and they will give you some information you can fill out there about what's going on with the prop firm, if there's been rule changes, or if there was something that happened where you got denied for a payout, or somehow, if you have a grievance, something like that, please let me know. I'd love to hear about them. And then what else do we have going on? So this is interesting here with Top Step. Earlier at the end of last week, they cut off the trading with silver. They cut the metals trading off altogether because they said they're placing trading restrictions on precious metal products as we continue to see expanding price limits and velocity logic halts. Products that will be halted include gold, micro gold, silver, micro silver, copper, micro copper, and platinum. So basically, all the metals got halted because there's this velocity logic thing that's going on. So if you want to read more about that, you can find out about what the CME velocity logic is. And basically, it's a circuit breaker type deal where you get this point where, like, if everything's moving too quickly, they go ahead and cut things off. So Top Step went ahead and just to try to avoid, I guess, the problems that might arise in the future from how much volatility and how many people were like blowing up accounts and how much the metals are moving around, they just went ahead and cut them off altogether. Obviously, there's been increases in margin across the board at people's brokerages and other places where they're just increasing the margin in general on these metals because of how volatile and how much they move right now. So the next thing up on my list is so this was kind of funny. I like this a lot here. They got the silver holders, right? So it started out great. Last week is like, yeah, everybody's rich. And then on Friday, it looked something, or Thursday and Friday started to look a little bit more something like this. I personally am still long gold. I'm long UGL, and I got in somewhere around $52 or something like that. I'm still holding it. It kind of went up and came back on us quite a bit. But, we'll see. If I get stopped out of it at break even, that's fine too. If not, hopefully maybe we can make a little bit of a run again for the highs. We all thought it was going to give up the last time, and it kept going. And there's a case that the metals continues to rally. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next thing. I wanted to congratulate some people here. We've got Sire Muhammad was one of the winners for our 150K Humble Futures account giveaway, which is awesome. We're super happy about that. We also had Cataclysmic Elf on the Discord who won one of the 150K Humble Futures accounts right here too. So huge shout out to them. Also Tris won one of the other Savviest Viper 50K accounts. That was announced last week too. And then we have more of these coming up for this week as well. And we've got Lucid on the block, which is the 25K account I'm giving away from LucidFlex. And you want to stick around and come to the Discord because you want to get into the Discord to be able to be eligible to enter into some of these contests. Now, they don't all happen on Discord, but Discord's like the meeting place. That's where everybody comes and you can get into the contests and you can go ahead and enter through the bots, or you can find out about what's going on with the different contests there. So let's move on to the next thing, which is Lucid. All right, so Lucid, I don't want to make this entirely too long of a video here, but the important update is the CME market access data restrictions. So on Friday, the CME implemented new restrictions on market data for certain countries. We're only informed of these changes today and had no prior notice. But because of the restrictions originate at the exchange level, they are beyond Lucid Trading's control, and traders of other firms will experience the same impact. We know this is frustrating, especially without warning, and we're sorry for the disruption. These are the restrictions that are now in effect. Now, if you look through here, there's a whole bunch of countries now that are newly restricted, in addition to countries that were already restricted. And most of those countries that we were already restricted, they have to do with like trade embargoes. They have to do with political things mostly. And also because of the risk, some of the countries, there's a lot of risk that they just won't do business with certain countries because they have a long history of scamming or whatever. There's different reasons that banks and the government don't want to do business with various countries. However, and this is the important thing about this right now, because a lot of rumors going around, a lot of people saying a lot of things. It's like, okay, so there's like this huge rumor mill going on right now between metals. There's this huge rumor mill going on right now with the CME things. So this is what they said after they said this, that they were going to issue refunds for anybody that was from these countries. No questions asked. Don't worry about it. And then there was an important update again this morning at 8:45 from AJ, and he said that he wanted to provide clarity following the update shared earlier regarding the CME market data access in restricted countries. After further communication, we identified discrepancies between the initially shared restricted country list and enforcement that was briefly applied. As a result, traders who already had active Lucid accounts this morning from the affected countries will continue to trade as normal. New purchases from the affected countries have been temporarily paused while final confirmation is obtained. NinjaTrader has confirmed that a change pushed over the weekend applied restrictions more broadly than intended due to a bug. That change is currently being rolled back, and the normal market data assignment will resume once the rollback completes. The underlying requirement to restrict access and sanction to prohibited countries remains, but the final accurate list is still being finalized by the CME and NinjaTrader. And once we receive the confirmed list, we will immediately update you, etc., etc. So we have to basically just wait to see what's going on with this. I know that there's a lot of people that are affected. The trading community truly is an international community. I know that now because of my Discord and how many people come from all over the country, all over the world, from all types of different places who are trading, and which is really, really interesting to see and have all those different communities and people together. So that's the announcements as they stand right now. I'm not sure how this will all unfold. I will keep you updated, guys. I do have contests going on. Obviously, there's sales going on. Jump on the Discord so you can find out more about that. Check out my sheet for who my top picks are right now and some of the different sales and lower price accounts that you can get at different places. And I will see you guys on the next one.